Blessed Tuesday to all our people at God's Kingdom Fellowship. Pastor Freddie here on today's short message, dwelling upon the verse on Psalm 23, one of David's Psalms. He writes, "He leads me in paths of righteousness." And my message for you who are hearing this morning is, where are you going? What's your direction? Where are you being led in the right place in God's way? And I think I want to start by saying that to distinguish a bad path versus the right path, I think that's pretty basic. A lot of us could think of that, and it's pretty clear for us. I think where we could be challenged and need God's discerning more is to be able to distinguish the difference between a good path versus God's path, because there's so many good things in our lives that are not necessarily bad things, but the question is it God's things? Is it God's direction? And that's what David was talking about when he was using this illustration of a shepherd leading a sheep and taking him in the right path. Lately, the conversation I've been having with the Lord, and even with those who are walking with me in the faith, and who is sharpening one another, is this whole issue on indifference. Meaning, a lot of people just don't care as much as they ought to care about spiritual things. And this kind of relates to that, because because people can be fooled by this massive lie that the enemy has given, both to believers and non-believers alike. And that is, things are okay. Can you please hear that message this morning and just be challenged by that the enemy will try to make us believe that things are okay. It's a sunny day, you have a roof over your head, you have clothes on your back. The government is, even though there's issues with the government, I mean, we're not in complete danger. Things are okay. And the enemy wants us to believe that that's the truth, and that because things are okay, then the tendencies are we need God less. Some of the most common things that I'm seeing when trying to reach people for the gospel, for the message of Jesus, is that their natural disposition, their natural stance or belief is that they're okay without God. I don't need God in my life. I mean, he's good and he seems like he's offering great things, but I'm happy with my life. I got a nice pension. I got a nice house. I got a nice family. I got good things in my life. I take 1 or 2, maybe even 3 vacations a year. Who needs God? And that is the biggest lie that the enemy is brainwashing both non-believers and believers. And so let me ask you again, church and friends, are you on God's righteous path? Are you following him, or are you following the quote-unquote good way? May you be blessed.